Would you like to get a job in Portugal and experience living in Europe? If yes, then hear me out. You might need a Portugal work visa. Getting it is up to your nationality and the duration of your stay. Hi, this is Max from the Visa Library. In this video, I will explain who needs a Portugal work visa, the requirements, the application process, and other details. But let's do the YouTube stuff first. If you haven't, now is the time to subscribe to our channel and support us. If you do it, I will give you a free cheat sheet about this visa and the application process at the end. Let's go. Who needs a Portugal work visa? It depends on your nationality. The EU and EEA nationals don't need a work visa as Portugal is a part of the EU. However, EU nationals have to apply for a residence permit if they will be working longer than 6 months. To apply for a residence permit, you will need to provide number 1, a valid travel ID or passport, number 2, a written affirmation to prove you have enough funds to cover your expenses, number 3, valid health insurance in Portugal. You need to register with the local city council you live in to formalize your residence. On the other hand, most non-EU nationals need a work visa. They need to apply for a work visa before entering Portugal. The prerequisite of the work visa is a job offer that has to lead to a formal job contract. Providing that you are married to a Portuguese citizen, you also can apply for a work visa. Here's a question. What are the types of Portugal work visas? There are 2 types of Portugal work visas. They vary by the length of a stay and you have to choose them by this factor. First, we have Portugal short-term work visa. If you have a job offer in Portugal for less than 6 months, you need a short-term work visa. You can extend this visa for up to 1 year if taken part in scientific research, academic teaching, and highly qualified professional jobs or projects. Secondly, we have Portugal long-term work visa. You need a Portugal long-term work visa if you will be working for longer than 6 months. You have to apply for a visa before you enter Portugal. However, if you're from the US, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Japan, and Israel, you can apply from inside the country. When you receive the work visa and move there, you have to apply for a residence permit. Now, how to apply for a Portugal work visa? The application process for a Portugal work visa might be different based on the country you live in. As I explained, a few countries can apply for a work visa from inside the country. Let's see. Step 1. Check if you need a visa. Before you apply for the Portugal work visa, determine the duration of your stay and your nationality. Bear in mind that if you are an EU national and will be working for longer than 90 days, you need a residence permit. You have to apply to the Portuguese Immigration and Border Service. Step 2. Get a job offer. Most non-EU countries need a job offer to work in Portugal. Portuguese employers often have to advertise the job in the country and the EU for 1 month. If the employer doesn't find any appropriate employees, he or she can offer the job to a non-EU resident. Bear in mind that the job offer must lead to a work contract. You need the contract to apply for a work visa in your home country. Your employer must apply for the work permits. They must do it after they have offered the job to you, but before you travel to Portugal. Step 3. Complete the application form. Now that you have the job offer, you can begin the application process. Find the nearest Portuguese embassy or consulate in your home country. You might have to apply to a visa center authorized by the Portuguese government. Download the application form from their website. Remember, if you stay for longer than 3 months, the form must be a long stay one. Complete the form with the true form of your information, then print, date, and sign it. Keep the application form as you have to submit it to the officials at your interview. Step 4. Schedule a visa meeting. When you find a Portuguese embassy or visa center, schedule a visa meeting with them. The way you can set the meeting depends on the center. You could do it through a phone call or their website. Often you have to print a receipt that verifies your meeting with the embassy. If so, take it to the center. Step 5. Collect the requirements. I will talk about them. This step could take a bit longer than others, so you could begin it before the previous ones. But the officials could ask for specific documents based on your nationality and case. Remember that an incomplete list of requirements won't have a good impact on your application. In case the authorities require further documents, the process could take longer. Step 6. Attend the visa appointments. Visit the Portuguese embassy or visa center on the scheduled date and bring all the requirements. Try to arrive at least half an hour early. It could take a bit of time to enter the embassy, like going through the security. When you meet the officials, submit all of your supporting documents. Learning some Portuguese would help to have a good impression on the interviewer. You also have to pay a fee for the visa processing. Portugal's work visa cost depends on the type of visa, duration of your stay, and the country you apply from. The officials often ask the questions about the nature of your visit to Portugal. You would better be honest and give true answers. Step 7. Wait for the processing. You should wait until the officials process your visa. The processing time for a Portugal visa could begin from 2 weeks to 3 months. You could track the processing stages by phone call or by visiting the embassy. When your visa is prepared, the embassy will inform you or send it to you. Step 8. Get a residence permit. When you get to Portugal, you need to apply for a residence permit. You must receive the visa and then apply for the permit. Visit the local town hall to know the requirements list and receive the application form. You also need to get a tax code from the Director General of Taxes and register with Social Security. Here's a question. What are the requirements for a Portugal work visa? Number 1, passport. Number 2, 2 passport-sized colored photos. Number 3, proof to have enough funds. Number 4, proof of accommodation. Number 5, language proficiency certificate if required. Number 6, if you're already in Portugal, proof of legal entry into Portuguese territory such as a visa. Number 7, if you are applying from a country other than your origin country, proof of legal stay such as residence permit or visa. Number 8, your employment contract. Number 9, your criminal records from your country or residence. If you have lived in another country for more than 1 year, you have to get criminal records from there as well. Also, a document giving permission to check your Portuguese criminal records is required. You and the Portuguese employer must also sign the work contract, and it must include the type of the job, your rights as the employee, the rules of the company, your responsibilities or tasks, and the working hours. All the documents you submit must be in English or Portuguese. If they are not, you must have them translated by a certified translator and then notarized. Certain documents, such as diplomas or civil documents, may have to be legalized. You can legalize documents through an apostille stamp or through the Portuguese embassy in your country. Keep in mind that the list of mentioned documents is not complete. The officials could ask for further documents. Here's another question. Can you do volunteer work in Portugal? If you want to do volunteer work in Portugal, you need a visa and the right residence permit. The application process is the same. The requirements could include proof of enough funds to pay for your expenses in Portugal, appropriate accommodation, and clean record certificate. Another question, how much is the work visa fee? There is more than one fee you have to pay when applying for a work visa. The cost of the entry visa issued by the Portuguese embassy is about 90 euros. The cost of submitting the application for a residence permit is about 83 euros. The cost of receiving the residence permit for work is about 72 euros. And that's it, yeah. How long is the Portugal work visa valid? Your residence permit allows you to live and work in Portugal for 1 or 2 years. After 1 or 2 years, you can renew this permit before it expires, as long as you still have a job offer from your employer. Then, you can continue to live and work in Portugal for the duration that the residence permit is issued. Does a work visa lead to a permanent residency in Portugal? Yes. After you have lived in Portugal for 5 years using a temporary residence permit, then you can apply for a permanent residence permit. Once you become a permanent resident, you will be open to the job market and no longer need to apply for a work permit. Permanent residence permits also have a longer duration, are more easily to renew, and you will enjoy similar benefits to a Portuguese citizen. Another question, does a work visa lead to Portuguese citizenship? Yes. If you have lived in Portugal for at least 6 years, then you can apply for a Portuguese citizenship. You must be proficient in the Portuguese language and have links to the Portuguese community. Can you work in Portugal as an international student? Yes, international students are allowed to work in Portugal. The permitted hours of work depends on your nationality. If you have EU, EEA or Swiss nationality, you can work without any restrictions or a time limit. If you do not, you can only work for up to 20 hours per week during the semester. During semester breaks or holidays, you may work full-time. Can you work in Portugal if you have a family visa? Yes. If you are joining a family member who lives in Portugal, then you're allowed to work and study. You may have to seek authorization for work, however, so you should contact the authorities. Well, there you go. Now you can start your application and get your Portugal work visa. If the steps were so confusing, don't worry. I put a cheat sheet on our website. Go ahead and download it. Link is in the description. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel. It will help YouTube's algorithm. If you have any type of visa that you want to know about, write the name in the description and we will make a video for it. Thank you all for watching.